In the quiet fields of 19th century France, where rolling hills whispered secrets to the wind and humble villages held steadfast to ancient traditions, arose a man destined to become a beacon of light in the darkest souls. Jean Mary Vianney, known to the world as the Curé of Ars, was no ordinary priest. With a heart ablaze with divine fire and a soul forged in simplicity and relentless devotion, he faced a world shadowed by doubt, sin, and despair. Through tireless nights of prayer and countless confessions, he became the guardian of souls, the healer of hearts, and the patron of clergy across the globe. Join us on an epic journey through the life and miracles of this humble shepherd whose faith moved mountains and whose love for his flock knew no bounds. This is the story of a saint who transformed a small village into a sanctuary of grace, forever changing the course of countless lives. Chapter 1. The Humble Beginning of a Shepherd. In the quiet village of Dardaly, nestled among the rolling hills of 18th century France, a child was born into a simple farming family, Jean Mary Vianney. It was August 8, 1786, a time when the world seemed poised on the edge of great change, and the echoes of revolution were beginning to stir in the distance. Yet in this peaceful corner of the world, life moved slowly, shaped by the steady rhythms of nature and the unspoken traditions of faith. Jean-Marie's early years were humble and unremarkable to many. He was no prodigy, no scholar destined for grandeur. Instead, he was a quiet boy, more inclined to wander the fields and speak with the trees than to sit for long hours with books. His mind struggled to grasp lessons that came easily to others. He stumbled through school, often frustrated by his own limits. Many thought he would never rise beyond his modest beginnings. But beneath this simple exterior burned a fierce and unyielding devotion. Jean-Marie was a boy with a heart full of wonder, captivated by the mysteries of God and the sacred beauty of the world around him. His faith was not learned from grand sermons or impressive teachers, but from the deep wells of prayer and the humble example of his parents. They taught him to listen, not just with ears, but with his soul, to the quiet voice of the divine, calling him onward. As France plunged into the chaos of the revolution, with churches closed and priests hunted, Jean-Marie's family clung tightly to their faith. The boy watched as the world around him was shaken by violence and fear. Yet he felt a stirring inside, a sense that God had chosen him for a purpose greater than himself. Despite his academic struggles, his heart whispered a sacred dream: to become a priest, to serve as a shepherd for a flock lost and wandering in dark times. His path, however, would not be easy. The trials came swiftly. Poverty, ridicule, and discouragement shadowed his every step. When he finally entered the seminary, his difficulties with studies only deepened. Many doubted he could succeed. Some even questioned if he should be ordained at all. Yet Jean-Marie's spirit was unbroken. He prayed with a desperation and intensity that astonished his teachers. Night after night, he begged for strength and wisdom, offering his weaknesses as a sacrifice to God. Through perseverance and grace, he overcame each obstacle. His faith grew stronger, not in spite of his struggles, but because of them. The humble boy from Dardaly was slowly being forged into a man of profound holiness, a man who would one day become the Curé of Ars, the guardian of souls and the patron of priests. This chapter marks the beginning of an extraordinary journey, a journey where faith, humility, and relentless love would triumph over hardship, and where one man's dedication would ignite a spiritual revival that touched the hearts of millions. Chapter 2. The Calling to Ars. A mission begins. After years of perseverance and prayer, Jean-Marie Vianney was finally ordained a priest in 1815. But his journey was far from over. His first assignment would test his resolve like never before. He was sent to Ars, a tiny and forgotten village in the French countryside, known more for its neglect than its faith. Ars was a place where hope seemed lost. The people were distant from the church, some indifferent, others openly hostile. The parish was in ruins, its spirit broken by years of neglect and sin. To many, This was a punishment, a dead end. But to Father Vianney, it was a divine calling, a chance to become the shepherd his people desperately needed. Arriving in Ars, Father Vianney faced cold shoulders and suspicion. The villagers were wary of the young priest, his awkward manners, and his simple origins. Yet beneath his humble appearance was a heart aflame with divine love and an unshakable faith that nothing could extinguish. He threw himself into his mission with tireless energy. Days blended into nights as he spent endless hours in prayer, preparing himself to face the great task ahead. His confessional became a beacon, drawing people from miles around, seeking forgiveness and peace. Father Vianney's dedication was legendary. In a world quick to judge, he was slow to condemn, always patient, always kind. His words were simple but carried the weight of heaven, touching the deepest corners of troubled souls. Despite his many challenges, poor health, exhaustion, and the loneliness of his mission, he never wavered. His love for God and his flock gave him strength beyond human limits. He became known as the Curé of Ars, a man whose holiness transformed not just a village, but the very hearts of those who crossed his path. The story of Ars would never be the same. Through Father Vianney's faith, a spiritual revival ignited, turning despair into hope and lost souls into radiant beacons of faith. Chapter 3. The Miracle of Mercy, Healing Hearts and Souls. As the days turned into years, Father Jean Mary Vianney's reputation as a man of extraordinary holiness spread far beyond the borders of Ars. His simple parish became a sanctuary for the weary, a refuge where broken souls found healing and hope. The confessional, his sacred chapel, transformed into a battlefield where mercy triumphed over sin. People traveled great distances to seek his counsel, drawn by stories of his profound wisdom and the miraculous grace they experienced in his presence. It was said that he could read the hearts of those who knelt before him, sensing their deepest struggles and offering words that pierced through despair like a sword of light. But the true miracle was not in spectacle or grand gestures. It was in the relentless mercy Father Vianney showed to all who came to him. His patience was infinite as he heard confession after confession, sometimes spending up to 16 hours a day in the confessional. Exhausted in body, yet unyielding in spirit, he bore the burdens of countless souls as if they were his own. Many testified to the healing power of his prayers. Sick bodies found strength, troubled minds found peace, and wandering spirits found their way back to God. Yet Father Vianney remained humble, attributing every miracle to the grace of God alone. His daily life was one of simplicity and sacrifice. Rising before dawn, he spent hours in prayer and penance, seeking the strength to carry the heavy cross of his mission. Despite poor health and fatigue, he never wavered in his commitment to serve. Through his example, the people of Ars began to rediscover their faith. Churches filled once more with the sound of hymns and prayer, and the light of hope illuminated even the darkest corners of the village. Father Vianney's miracles were not only signs of divine power, but invitations to transformation, a call for all to open their hearts to God's boundless love. Chapter 4. The Legacy of the Curé, a Saint for the Ages. The years passed, yet the flame of Father Jean Mary Vianney's devotion burned brighter than ever. His life became a testament to the power of faith, humility, and perseverance. Though small in stature and limited in worldly education, he stood tall as a spiritual giant, a shepherd who never abandoned his flock. His influence reached far beyond the village of Ars. Pilgrims from across France, and soon from all over the world, journeyed to seek the blessing and guidance of the Curé who had healed so many hearts. He became the patron of priests, a model of pastoral care, and a symbol of unwavering dedication to the sacred vocation of tending souls. Vianney's path to sainthood was marked by countless testimonies of his holiness and miracles. After his death in 1859, his body was found incorrupt, a sign of his sanctity. The Church officially canonized him in 1925, declaring him the patron saint of parish priests worldwide. But more than the honors and titles, his true legacy lies in the countless lives he touched. His relentless hours in the confessional, his gentle guidance, and his boundless compassion inspired generations of priests and laypeople alike to live lives of deeper faith and service. Even today, the small village of Ars stands as a beacon of spiritual renewal, a place where the legacy of the humble cure continues to inspire hope, healing, and devotion. The story of Saint John Mary Vianney reminds us that true greatness is found not in power or prestige, but in the quiet, steadfast love we offer to others. His journey, from a struggling boy in rural France to the patron of priests and healer of souls, is a timeless epic of faith conquering all obstacles. It is a call to each of us to embrace humility, to serve with love, and to trust in the power of grace to transform lives. As the story of Saint John Mary Vianney draws to a close, we are reminded that greatness often comes from the most humble beginnings. His life stands as a shining example of how faith, perseverance, and love can transform not only an individual, but entire communities. May his unwavering dedication inspire each of us to walk with courage on our own paths, to serve others with open hearts, and to seek the divine in every moment. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and legacy of the Curé of Ars. We hope his story has touched your soul and strengthened your faith. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please consider subscribing and sharing with others who may find hope and inspiration in the life of this remarkable saint. May peace and blessings be with you always.